What do you got, Coach? 3 things that all coaches need. Who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of coaches?
New York or the Aces? Definitely going with the Aces.
All right, 4th down. Who has the tougher job, coaches or officials? If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? But Texas is different. Welcome back. This is the Coach's Co-op. I decided to bring the green lid out of retirement. You know the P stands for Coach P. All right. I just want y'all to know that. So listen, this is the Coach's Co-op, a masterclass in athletic leadership where coaches connect, grow, and share the grind. I'm your host, Michael Prejean. Most people know me as Coach P. Each week, I have the opportunity to team up with coaches across the country to break down the wins, the lessons, and everything in between. This week, I'm teaming up with a coach who has played 5 sports. Okay, 5. That's all the fingers on one hand, including Division II and semi-pro football and 5 teams, D2 football, semi-pro football, has never been on a losing team. So you can definitely call today's guest a winner. From Nebraska small town grit to Texas championship culture, he's a coach who has built his career on relationships, hard work, and that small town pride that travels wherever he goes. I want you to put your real hands together or your virtual hands, and y'all welcome Coach Travis Golden to the Co-op. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, it's great to have you here in the Co-op. Listen, when you come into the Co-op, this is the very first thing that we do. This segment is called Talk That Talk. So here's what I need you to do. I know it's homecoming week down at Clear Creek. You told me about that, okay? So what I want you to do is talk about all of the good things going on at Clear Creek in your program, in the athletic department, in the League City community. Coach Travis Golden, I need you to talk about Clear Creek. Ready?
Let's start off with homecoming. Our homecoming is one of the best in the area. Shut down the whole school on a day. We have a carnival inside of our school. So our school is built like a square with a big common area in the middle with trees and benches and all sorts of stuff. And the kids all gather around. We have a huge carnival that lasts for 3 or 4 hours. Then we have a big pep rally. We have a parade tomorrow night with a candlelight vigil. So that's a great thing. And then as far as just Clear Creek and the community in general, Clear Creek High School has a long tradition of success in sports and other things. We continually win with less. We go up against some of the other CCISD schools or neighboring schools. And right now we have a 2,200 enrollment at our campus. And that doesn't stop us. We find ways to win. Our water polo is going to state this week. Our volleyball team is 2nd place in district right now and finding ways to win when, they weren't supposed to do that well this year. But I think the coaching staff and the community that we have at Clear Creek helps us have that winning culture. And then the community, to me, is what stands out in League City. It's a place where you can call home. It's a specific suburb, and all of the kids. The thing that I think is unique is most of the kids in this area grow up playing with each other. There's League City that's kind of the home base for all the schools. So whether you're playing rec sports or whatever sports you're playing, you've played with somebody from all of the schools, and I think that's unique in this area.
Coach, that's good stuff right there, man. Lots of good things going on in the League City community. I actually, the last place that I coached at, we did homecoming in a similar fashion. So we had the carnival, right? No parade, but that carnival is a huge deal, right?
Yeah.
It's a great tradition. So I know y'all got a great tradition going on there, because it's just like, hey, nobody's worried about anything else going on during homecoming week. It's homecoming week. We're gonna have a carnival. Kids are, it's not quite a 4-hour block. It's probably about a 3-hour block,
Yeah.
right?
You ain't doing nothing all day.
Right. Nobody's doing anything, right? So every lunch is almost an hour, right? So the A lunch is almost an hour, B lunch is almost an hour, C lunch is almost an hour. Your kids aren't really making it to class on time, but nobody's worried about it.
Nope.
Nobody's worried
I'll be
about
real.
it.
After tomorrow, we're off the rest of the week. I mean, Thursday's just the prelude to the carnival. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, but I do have a question for you. I want to research you real quick.
Okay.
Who is the winningest program in Houston area, girls basketball?
All time?
Yep.
The all-time winningest. I'm gonna go with Conroe.
I don't know, but I want to find out. That's what I want to know, because I think Clear Creek would be up there with the amount of banners that we have from 1956 to now. I think we would be in the running for that.
You know what, man?
Just something, like I want to figure out a way to find out, like, what would be the winningest program in the Houston community.
I'm over here taking notes.
Yeah.
So I've been working behind the scenes, trying to get some of the legends. I'm not a Houston, Texas native, right?
Yeah.
But I've been involved in the girls' game here in Houston for about 20 years now.
Yep.
So I've been working behind the scenes trying to get some of these legends to grace the podcast, and because we need those history lessons, right?
Yeah.
Those of us who don't know the answer to that question, that's actually a great question. I'll be putting it out there on social media. I'm going to ask a few people. You think it's Clear Creek? I say it's Conroe. We're going to find out.
I just think that we could be in the mix. Like we make the playoffs continually. We're actually naming our floor to Coach Peggy Whitley at the tournament in 2 weeks because of all the winning that she did. Well deserved. But I was just curious. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, man, there's we could probably even go back. We could probably even go back to like North Shore.
Yeah.
Right? With Vivian Dancy. You got Susan Smith who won tons of games at Westfield. I have a cousin who played on some of those Westfield teams. So I was living in Louisiana at the time. I was in high school, middle school, high school, and I knew about what was going on here in Texas with Susan Smith and Westfield. So that's a great question, man. We're gonna get down to the bottom of it.
All right.
We are recording this on October the 21st. It is basketball season eve. Tomorrow is the first day of practice for UIL girls basketball in the state of Texas from 1A to 6A. I would probably venture to say schools that are probably 4A and under, they probably got half their team still playing volleyball right now.
Yeah.
But for those who don't have all of their kids in volleyball, man, y'all have a great first day of practice tomorrow. By the time this comes out, we'll probably be around season opener and getting ready for that first tournament time. Listen, here's what I need y'all to do. I need you to go ahead and subscribe to the Coaches Co-op for weekly interviews with masters in athletic leadership and people development experts like our guy that we have here in the co-op today, Coach Travis Golden of Clear Creek High School. All right, Coach. Coaching is a calling, right? It's a tough job. It's not for everybody. So here's my question for you. When did the coaching bug bite you? When did you decide that, you know what, this is what I'm going to do?
I would say, I was in high school and I had some coaches that were close to me and just did a great job of mentoring me and taking care of me. And then when I got into college, I really started missing that aspect, like playing is fun and all that kind of stuff, but just that camaraderie and, the everyday things that go with coaching, that's when I decided, like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to be involved with youth and with sports for the rest of my life. And that's when I made the decision to become a teacher.
Okay, but I know that there's some background, right? So when you graduated high school, did you know you wanted to be a teacher?
So the first 2 years, no. So the first 2 years I was in school, and we were, chasing that business degree or lawyer type of thing. And then when I kind of knew that, I guess my playing time wasn't going to go to the NFL or whatnot, right? I said my next best resource to stay involved with sports was to become a teacher and start coaching, because I just had a love for the game.
Okay. So initially, you were a football player.
Yes.
Let me see. Man, you remind me of a tight end.
I was defensive end and tight end.
Man, look at that. Hit it on the head. All right. So did you initially think that you were going to be a football coach? Was that your
I was a
initial
football
plan?
coach. Yes. Yeah, I was a football coach.
Okay.
When I first moved down here, that's what I was going to, and I was working towards. I was actually working my way to be an OC, was working with Trey's system to become the OC with him at Bel Air at one point. And then I started having daughters, right? I had 2 of them. And my wife at the time, still my wife, but the wife had said that, we didn't want to have any more kids. So I was like, okay, well, if these are mine, then I better learn how to coach them and teach them up. So that's when I decided that I wanted to flip to the girls' side when I was at Spring Branch Memorial and really start focusing on working with girls and just learn how to build that craft to work with them and really just build a program that they would be proud to be in and that I would be proud to be a part of.
Okay, man, that's good, but I wanna go back just a little bit, right?
Right.
Because there's a great story in here. So you and your college quarterback.
Yeah. So we
Were
got
recruited?
recruited. Yeah, we got recruited
Uh-huh.
down here to do student teaching. So we were like, hey, what the heck, man? Like, let's do it, right? Because you don't get paid for student teaching if you do it within state. And we got selected. And we had the choice of either going to Alaska or Texas. And we said, well, spring break in Texas sounds okay. So yeah, we came down here and kept the good times rolling. And he's actually now a principal back in Nebraska. Then I got a couple other buddies that still are down here that did the same thing.
Okay. Man, that's like a no-brainer, right? Like Texas or Alaska.
Yeah.
Could you make my choice any easier?
Yeah. I'd already seen the snow, so we'll see what South Padre was like.
Oh man. Okay, so here I want to ask this question. This is not one of my questions that I kind of have pre-scripted, but what football concepts, if any, have you applied to basketball over the years?
Yeah. One of the main ones is the Bill Belichick approach. Right. If you ever read any of his stuff and how he dissected, offenses and defenses, he always wants to take away the one thing that you're good at. Right. And so when I coach against teams or players, right, that's my main focus is what can I do to disrupt not only their offense, but their flow or a kid. So we do a variety of things to make that happen. But to me, that is one of the things that I've always done. Right. I mean, obviously I'm a physical type player, we're going to come at you with some force and not back down. But that's one of the main things. And then just, offensively and defensively in football, they're kind of set plays, right? Like you line up in a formation and this, they can run this or that out of it. Right. In basketball, it's the same type of thing. When they line up in sets that what they're going to run, what's your counter, right? And that's that type of stuff. Like to me, that's where my football, basketball IQ like just kind of merge. And I love it. That's the fun part about it.
That's good stuff. My thing was special teams, which for when I coached was baseline out of bounds and sideline out of bounds. Can we get 6 points a game off baseline out of bounds and sideline out of bounds. We're not running them just trying to get the ball in bounds. We're trying to steal some points here and there. We really wanted to really be solid in those concepts, man. So that's good. Just some philosophical questions. This podcast is not about X's and O's, right? That's
we call those set plays. So you ever in a practice or a game and my team doesn't do what they're supposed to or defend it a certain way, like, oof, that'll get Coach Golden rubbing his top of his head real quick, because those are set plays that like you said are special team plays that you need to steal those points.
Yeah, and you not only do you need to steal them, but you need to make sure that the other team doesn't get them.
Yep.
Right. So the way we defend these things is going to be like a beamer ball, right? We want to be great on special teams, right? We want to prevent you from getting anything going on special teams. Man, that's good stuff, Coach. That is good stuff. All right, so Nebraska guy comes down as a student teacher to Texas, ends up staying here in Texas, starts off as a football coach, was going to be an OC, right? Offensive coordinator, which has you one step away from being a campus athletic coordinator in the state of Texas, man.
Yep.
And then you have 2 daughters.
Yeah.
completely changes everything up. So, man, what was it like the very first time that you started coaching young ladies?
I think there's a lot of similarities. I think the biggest similarity to me is the girls don't know it all right away, right? Like the boys, they know it all right away, right?
Yeah.
So that aspect was really fun working with the girls and, just seeing their development, right? Because they're learners. They just want to learn. They want to please. They want to get things done. And then the other thing that I learned very, very quickly is the sarcasm. Like sarcasm did not work as well with young ladies as it does sometimes with boys. So I had to really, really learn, how to speak to them or how to influence them the right way. So those are the 2 main things. But otherwise, sports are sports, right? And they have some limitations, but at the end of the day, you adjust, right? They can't make, a 3-quarter pass across the floor, right? So you just adjust that and whatever. But for the most part, doing Alief dunks and, things like that. But other than that, you just change up your X's and O's to fit your team, which you would do with any team you have, right? Like there's teams you have shooters and runners and whatever. So, but those are the 2 main things.
That's good stuff. I always tell people if you want to find out if you can coach, like if you think you can coach, go coach girls basketball. Let's find out if you can really. And I don't want to say coach. I'm gonna use a different word. I'm gonna say teach. Can you actually teach the game? Right. Yeah. You want to find out if you can teach the game. Then, hey, this is what you're gonna do. So, what was your first stop? Your first coaching stop in Texas?
So my first one was in Alief and Albright. I did Alief Taylor and Albright, but I started teaching more at Albright after they hired me for my student teaching. Loved it there. I was a PE teacher. I still talk to some of those boys. We killed it out there. We crushed everybody. We had a great staff with Mike Paul, Chris Ford, a couple other guys. But, I think we won almost every district championship there was in every sport for like 3 years. Rob Ambry was there too, who's now at Duncanville. Yeah. So anyways, but we won everything, and it was a blast. And like I said, I still talk to some of those. I can't say boys anymore. They're men now. They're old and they have great families and jobs, and I'm super proud of them. I stay in touch with them, and so that's really cool. And then after that is when I started to really get back into shape and started to try to go semi-pro football and Arena League. And I signed an Arena League contract, and 2 weeks later tore my ACL playing flag football with my wife.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Let me go bash some heads.
Yeah,
let me get in shape and go knock heads.
Yeah. I was actually going to go over to was semi-pro with Chris Dishman. Some people may know him. He's a pretty famous oiler around this area. Now the TSU coach. But he was going to take me over to the Europe League with him. But anyways, that didn't happen. Here I am. From that stop, I went to Houston Memorial. Loved it there. Great culture, great leaders. I learned a ton. One of the most memorable moments I had there was Coach Koch, who, just retired this last year, but was a legend in the area for football. There was a play that happened in football, and he's on the offensive side, and he calls a play or whatever, and then he goes over and he rips the defense, and he's like, why didn't you do this? And I just kind of looked at him. I said, I thought you were coaching the offense. He goes, I'm coaching all sides. It's my job to know every detail, blah, 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 like why it didn't work or why it did work, right? And who made the play. And I said, okay. I said, right at that moment right there, I was like, I don't know enough. You know what I mean? Like, I need to know every detail on every side, what makes a 2-3 zone work, what doesn't make it work, right? Like, and then, same thing in football, but that was my time where I was like, okay, I'm going to develop. And so that when somebody throws a junk defense or 1-3-1 or whatever, like I know exactly how to defend it or score on it or whatever it is. So that was a great experience. I probably would have never left, but that was when the riff happened back in the day. And I was low man on the totem pole by 20 years at Memorial. So the district stashed me away at academy school real quick, and then let me coach at Spring Branch, Spring Woods. Sorry, and I coached there. I coached there for 2 years under Daryl Hill, and started coaching girls at that point because that's kind of when I made that choice, and then got a head job down in Danbury and worked with another great football coach. He passed away a couple years ago, but he was a great guy and learned a lot from him. And I coached literally everything but boys basketball down there. I mean, the 1 year I was football, cross country, head basketball, and head track all in the same year. And then that next year he came to me and I was coaching football, and he said, hey, Travis, like, we got an opening in volleyball. He's like, you're the most qualified person on campus to coach. You're the only one we trust. I was like, Jimmy, I don't know anything about volleyball other than bump, set, spike, bro. And he's like, I need you to do it. And I was like, okay. So then I went back up to all the coaches I knew in Houston and learned volleyball for a month. And we were 1 win away from the playoffs that year. So disappointed. But anyways, I coached volleyball that year as the head coach. And that was great. We made they hadn't made the playoffs in a while in basketball, and we made the playoffs in 3 years. The girls bought into everything I said and did down there. That was a great group. And then I was making a drive from League City to Danbury, and it was just getting to be too much for my family with all the sports. And, we're driving all the way to East Bernard and Brazos, and, you could talk about getting home at 12, 1 o'clock at night. So a job opened up at Clear Creek as a freshman coach. I could make more money as a freshman coach only and coach over here. And my friend Christy Odom was the head coach at that time. Now, Christy was at Memorial when I was at Memorial, but she was on the girls' side and I was on the boys' side under Coach Lay, and Larry was on the boys' side too at that time, actually. Yusuf, right? Okay. Yeah, he was on the boys' side at that time. So me and him worked together at Memorial together as well. So anyways, Christy was like, hey, I got this spot. Let's meet up. So we met up, talked about it, and she's like, yeah, absolutely. Come take this spot. And then the rest is history. This is my 11th year there. So I started that first year as a freshman coach and then moved up to first assistant the next year. And I think this is my 4th or 5th year as head coach, something like that. So here we are.
So couple of things I want to ask you. So number one, did you play basketball like a football player?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Like you can go back. I got
5 fouls. I'm using them.
Yeah, you go back and talk to my coaches. Like there was guys that were scared to come in my lane. Right now, I don't think I fouled out very many times. But when a hack needed to be hacked, like I was going to take you out. And I was Michael Jordan era. So yeah, but I also think I still
Yeah.
have the shooting percentage record at my school at 68% from the floor. But again, that's because my coach said, don't you dare get away from that rim. You stay by that rim and protect that thing, and it will get you the ball down there. So,
listen, that's what we call good coaching.
Yep.
That's what we call coachability. And that's what gets your results.
That's right.
Man, there was a kid
Go ahead.
where I grew up in Lafayette, Louisiana. Gosh, man, you just made me think about him. He was like an all-state tight end in Louisiana at Como High School. His name was Kyle something. Man, that dude, you ran into him literally like running into a brick wall.
Yep.
Literally. And you didn't want to be fouled by him because it was going to be a clean play, but it was going to hurt. Man, What is that guy's name? All-state tight end, though. Huge guy.
Yep. I was all-state offensive tackle. So, yeah, same
tackle
concept.
or right tackle?
Left tackle.
Oh, man, guarding a blind side. Coach Golden was –
yeah. Yep.
Coach Golden was that guy. You were that guy.
I like playing defense better, though.
Listen, man.
I think I took out the first 3 games of my senior year. I took out the quarterback the first 3 games.
Snot bubbles.
That's back when head hunting was allowed.
That's a different era, man. Different era.
Mm-hmm.
Different era. So, the second question I wanted to ask was, so you were the head coach in multiple sports at Danbury, but how many total years were you an assistant coach?
Let's see. This is year 21, so 16. Well, no. I don't know. I guess you wouldn't count those years at Danbury because I was a head coach there. So 11, 12, somewhere around there.
Yeah. And the reason I'm asking that is there's value. There's value there. I remember being an assistant coach under DeWanda Richard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So DeWanda came up under Shannon Osborne.
Yep.
Right?
CCISD.
CCISD, right? So DeWanda and Shannon coached, they coached together in summer ball. So I'm kind of like we're basically branches of the same tree, just on opposite ends, right? So you come up under Odom, I come up under Richard, they both come up under Osborne. And that, man, so much value, so that when I became a head coach for the first time, I was prepared. I can say that maybe, I don't know if I was, you'll never be ready for everything, right?
Yeah.
But I was definitely prepared, so I was, man, thankful and grateful. I coached freshman A, I coached freshman B, I coached JV. I became the varsity assistant. We had some great disagreements. We disagree about this, we disagree about that, we agree about this, we agree about that. Timeouts were terrible. We didn't agree on anything in a timeout. But there's some value there, and I want younger coaches who may watch or listen to this later to really understand, man, value your years as an assistant coach. Like, don't just hurry up and try to jump into that first chair, because that's a tough job.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're talking about Texas, right? Yep. We're talking about high school basketball in Texas. We just might have the best girls basketball in the country right here in Texas, because there's so many different brands of basketball in the state. You got Dallas, and then you got San Antonio, you got Houston, you got Austin. Hell, then you go up to the Panhandle. Yep. Right?
You get out to West Texas.
You get out, so we had state champs from every corner of the state, and there's so many different brands of basketball. So it's not like you're just going to walk into that in first seat, right? And then just automatically be successful. Go ahead, Coach.
What I would like to see too is I would like to see other coaches go to a small school and coach there first, right? Like cut your teeth at a small school, because that's where you really learn your craft more, in my opinion. You're like, what do you do when you don't have all the pieces, right? How do you put it together? Because that was one of the things at Danbury, like you're given what you got, and it's only a handful of kids, right? And how are you going to make that work, right? And then you learn the small details, and then you can move up to the bigger schools. But I really think that you learn more at a small town or a small school first before you just jump into, a big North Shore or whatever it is,
Yeah, man, that's a very good perspective. I got a buddy coach on the boys side who told me he said, man, I would never coach at a 5A or 6A school.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, he said, it's too many in parts. He's kind of mastered the way it works, at the smaller schools. He's been, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, but he's like, man, I absolutely will not go to a 5A or 6A school, which actually, man, had me considering, hey, let me try a smaller school, a smaller town, not being from Texas, a little more, it's a little more difficult. You kind of you have to know some people, in some of those smaller places, so I got to build my network. Coach, that's good stuff, man. So, League City, the small town feel of League City. How does that personal connection? Because you talk about, man, I go in the grocery store, I see somebody I know. So how is that deep personal connection impacted your job, your program, and the culture within it?
Well, I think everybody sees me as a member of the community, right? Like I have some other things that I've done in this community. I've started a sports organization called League City Sharks. It's an AAU volleyball. We've morphed it into whatever we wanted to do, right? We've had flag football. We've done pickleball. We've done whatever we wanted to do with it, right? Whatever the community kind of needs. And because of that, my network has just, grown from that. And I try to do as many activities within the community. We have junior high night, we have elementary night. Our elementary night is one of my favorite nights of the year. We bring in those kids and they get to take a picture with the athletes, and then we sign those pictures for them, and they take them home and give them some goodie bags and a t-shirt. And, really I make my girls go down and talk to those kids and just try to learn their names. And, one of their jobs is they have to take some pictures with them and send them to me, so I know that they're building that same community aspect. But I love being in the community. I mean, I think it's valuable to know people when you go places. It goes back to that old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. I was talking to my daughters about this the other day, just about how, you need community, right? Like, community is what helps you grow as a person. And I said, you need community at all times of your life. Like, if I need a plumber, I reach out to my community and I say, hey, who's a good plumber that people have used, right? And then I know this guy, and this guy have used this person and they're good and it's a credible source. Boom. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're just shooting out in the dark and saying, I need a plumber, and whoever gets you, gets you. So, but I think that's one of the main things, is just having that sense of community and loving it. Some people don't like that. They don't want to work where they live, but I love it. I think that's just that small town. I grew up in a small town, and, after a Friday night, I'd go into the donut shop that next morning or whatever, and donuts were on the house, or whatever.
And that's, I say that's probably that small town deal. I didn't grow up here either. I didn't grow up in a small town per se, but it definitely wasn't a big place, right? Yeah. So, growing up in Louisiana, the largest classification is 5A. I went to a 5A high school. We had 1,600 kids, right? Yeah. So that would be, I guess that would be 5A here in Texas.
Yeah. Big 4A, little 5A. Yeah.
Big 4A, small 5A. So that's kind of how it was, right? So the two places that I've worked in the state of Texas, number one, the first school, my sister graduated from there. My parents lived in that community. right?
Mhm.
So I was connected. I had been there forever. And then my second coaching stop, and this is almost 20 years of coaching, right? My second stop is in my community where I live. I literally live 5 minutes from the last place I worked.
Yeah.
Both of my kids graduated from that school, so I loved it. I love being close. I love that my sister will go to Kroger and see, she'll call me. She's like, "Oh, hey, I saw one of your kids in the grocery store. She said hi to me. It was so sweet. I love seeing them." Like I love that, so I think I'm just gonna, shots fired at big city folks, who don't like to live
That's right.
where
That's
they
right.
work,
I joke.
but
I joke. I think I'm gonna be the mayor eventually, one of these days down here. So
hey, you probably will.
that's what I'm going for.
Listen, get you a good long run,
Yep.
and just about that ticket will just about be cemented. Right?
Absolutely.
That's good stuff. Coach, man, let me play my commercial here, and then we'll be back in We'll get back to the conversation in a second, but here at the Coaches Co-op, we're all about building championship level systems on and off the court. This episode is brought to you by The Path for Coaches, because iron sharpens iron and real growth happens when coaches support coaches. If you're looking to level up your team culture, fine-tune your playbook, or just stay motivated through the grind, check out The Path for Coaches. You can find The Path for Coaches at Amazon.com, or you can send me a direct message on IG at podcast_with_Prejean. Unlock the power of mentoring. Discover ways to be a good mentor and find good mentors with The Path for Coaches, Volume 1, Mentoring. All right, let's get back to it. You are in the Coaches Co-op. My name is Michael Prejean. I'm your host. Most people know me as Coach P. We are here with the head girls basketball coach at Clear Creek High School in League City, Texas, Golden. If you're looking to elevate your leadership, your team culture, or your team success, make sure you check us out here in the Co-op. All right, Coach Golden, what's the hardest thing about the job that nobody knows?
Man, I would say the amount of time that good coaches put in, right? Like really the amount of time and effort that we put in to not only win, but for the kids to be successful, right? It's all those little things that we do on the day in and day outs that nobody notices and nobody knows about, right? It's helping a kid get to class. It's helping a kid eat. It's helping a kid deal with family issues. It's helping, just all of those things, right? Like that's the biggest thing these days. Like it's not even about X's and O's anymore, man. It's all the little things that we have to do to build these kids up. I just got off the phone literally an hour ago with a college coach from a former player of mine who reached out to me and said, "Hey coach, can you help me? Like I'm having troubles with her, blah, blah, blah. I know you were her father figure. Can you, give her a call and give her a pep talk?" I said, "No problem." Yeah. So I'd say that's the biggest, thing.
So we talk about years ago. When I was still at Spring High School, I was talking to our FCA rep. Her name was Angela. And I was struggling, and I was like, man, I love coaching. I love the Lord, and I put so much time into this coaching that I feel like I get pulled away from my church, right? Mm-hmm. And she was the very first person that told me. She said, coaching is a calling. She said coaching is a calling. So you're not being pulled away from something, you're being pulled to something. Mm-hmm. Right? So the things that we do, for our kids, for the program, because the program is the people. In a sense, coaches, you put a great qualifier on it. Good coaches are like pastors, right?
Absolutely.
And a good coach is like a pastor, and you can't You can't skim time off the top if you're going to be a good coach, because to quote Nick Saban, it takes what it takes.
Yep.
Right. All right, coach. What's the easiest thing about the job that nobody really knows?
It's fun. It's just fun. Like when you're out there and you're in practice and you're seeing success, like you're working with those kids and you're working on that jump shot, or you're working on that slide defensively and keeping the hand where it's supposed to be, and them getting to the right spots. Like, it's just pure joy. It's just fun. You know what I mean? Like when you're in it and things happen the right way and you see the kids having the success, that's the best part. And then ultimately, man, like seeing those kids go down the line, right, and go out your door and be successful, like that's the ultimate goal. But like the coaching aspect, like that's the best part. It's just, it's fun.
It is. Who's got the harder job, coaches or officials?
Oh man, coaches.
Both jobs are difficult.
Coaches.
Would you say
officials are easy?
All right.
Officials are easy. Come on, and make those calls all day for them. I tell them all the time, you help them, whatever they need.
Hey,
I'm there for them. I'm there for them.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. All right. So if you than a coach, what would it be?
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
If you could be anything other than a coach, what would it be?
We'll go with a lawyer.
Okay.
Chase that bank. I'm pretty witty, and I come up with things pretty quick, and I can remember small details. So I think I would have been good there.
Bang, getting them. It's like, man, this guy is good. Golden and Associates.
Exactly. It rings.
There it is. All right, listen, coach, play a game with me.
Okay.
All right, so every week I give this game a new name. This week it's just going to be a game of 21. All right. Okay. So I'm going to ask you 21 questions. The first 7 are either or. The second 7 are agree, disagree. And then the last 7 questions will be word association. You ready, coach?
Sounds dangerous. Let's do it.
All right, let's do this. Either or. Nebraska corn or Texas barbecue?
Barbecue.
All right.
All right.
Tougher task. Coaching boys or coaching girls?
Coaching boys.
Construction work with dad or football practice?
Which one do I like?
Which one would you prefer to do?
Which one I prefer to do? I'd like to do construction with my dad because he passed away. So okay. I'd like another chance of that.
All right. Good stuff right there. Film study or live scout?
Film study.
Mentoring a young coach or mentoring a star athlete?
Star athlete.
You want the game-winning shot or a game-winning stop?
Shot.
Music at practice or silence and focus?
Music.
Okay. All right. That's 7. Here we go.
Okay.
Next group. Agree or disagree? Tough love coaching still works with today's athletes.
Agree.
Every athlete needs to play multiple sports like you did.
Agree.
The best way to build a winning culture is with small town values.
Agree.
Coaches' kids have it tougher.
Agree.
The best coaches are a little bit crazy.
Agree.
You become a better coach if you keep in touch with your coaches.
Absolutely. Agree.
Okay. Last question. Agree, disagree? Today's players are more skilled than previous generations.
More skilled, less IQ.
Okay. I gotta add IQ. I gotta add a question for IQ in there. Good stuff. All right. Here we go. We're almost to 21. Word association. Don't think about it too long. Coach's instinct right here. Here we go.
All right.
Ready?
There we go.
Nebraska.
Football.
Shovel.
Concrete.
Grind.
Season.
South Padre.
Spring break.
Danbury.
Lots of sports.
Family.
Important.
Jazz band.
Trombone.
Okay. All right, coach. See, that wasn't too bad, man. Game of 21. Quick game of 21 right there.
Easy.
So I said Nebraska. You said football.
Don't
Who's
start.
the coach?
I know we lost last Friday. God dang it.
Well, no, I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Right.
Who's the coach at Nebraska?
Matt Rule.
Not much longer is the rumor.
I don't know. He lost. I don't know. He lost. So who wants him now? You lost the big game.
Well, the rumor is that, he's the next guy at Penn State.
We'll see. They want a loser? They want a guy that lost?
Well, I mean, he
5-2? You want 5-2? That's not,
yeah.
I don't know.
Guy,
I like what he's done. I like what he's done. They did a poor job of the game, as far as executing the game plan. They should have beat Minnesota, and if they would have beat Minnesota, then they'd be, moving up in the rankings, probably top 20 right now, and have a good chance of making some run at it. But I think with that loss, things may not be as good as it should have been. But he has brought them back, so that was his job.
Yeah,
get them back to relevant. They have great facilities, great resources, so there's no reason they shouldn't be a top 25 team.
Yeah, they're going to have to back up the Brinks truck to keep him.
Yeah,
because
you got money. I sent in $20 last week.
Hey man, listen, and I keep like Nebraska in my periphery because I got a buddy whose son is a linebacker up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of, just kind of try to keep an eye on them, see how they're doing, and all of that stuff. So definitely not the Nebraska that we grew up with, right?
No.
Those
were some grown men.
Good old days.
Yeah.
The good old days. And Nebraska in the Big Ten.
Bring back the fullback. Bring back the fullback.
Run
the
all
damn
right, coach.
ball.
It's crunch time, coach. It's crunch time. That means we're down to the last 5 minutes of this podcast. Crunch time goes like this: 3, 2, 1. 3 in the key. 3 things that all athletic professionals or coaches need. 2 shots. 2 of the most difficult or foul challenges that you've experienced, and then we'll end it with one thing that you'd like to share before we get out of here. So, Coach Golden, let's start with 3 in the key. What do you have for 3 in the key?
I would say the 3 things would be core values, a strong why, and then having great mentors to help you along the way. I think those 3 things are some of the most, important things for coaches.
That's a good list right there. Core values, a strong why, and strong mentors. So here's what I want to do, Coach. I want to ask you this question about one of these things. I'm a new coach. I'm putting together my coaching philosophy. How do I develop my core values?
Well, I would say what's important to you, right? Like what are the things that are important to you? Is trust the most important to you? Is honesty? Is humor? You know what I mean? Like you've got to figure out what things matter to you, right? And once you figure out those things that matter to you, then that's your core value. Is like, to me, I think me by now, like hard work would be one of my core values. Like you do your job, right? That's one of the things that drives me the most is doing your job. You have a job to do, you do it, and you do it with pride. You know what I mean? You want to have that when you get done with something, you want to look back at it and say, yeah, I did that. I can still go back to my hometown and say, I built that driveway or I built that house over there, and I have pride in that. So I think that's what I would do.
So you come into coaching, and one of the things that you always hear, I heard for sure when I got into coaching, was loyalty. Be loyal.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Like I have a take on it, but what's your take on it? So I'm a brand new coach saying, hey, coach, be loyal. What does that mean?
So, I mean, that just means it means you can challenge the coach, right? If you're my new assistant, you can challenge me all you want, right? And I embrace that, right? I don't want a yes man working for me, but do it the right way, right? And then, do it the way that's the most professional, and don't undermine the head coach. Don't, you see those coaches sometimes that are young and like they'll get that parent that'll talk their ear off and they'll be like, yeah, I don't know if I'd have done that. I would have done da, 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 da. And it's like, that's where the disloyalty comes from, right? And you got people that start doing those things. That's just not good coaching.
That's good stuff. So my take is pretty much the same. It's very, very similar to counter. No, it's not even a counter. An addendum. No, it's not an addendum. You can tell I wasn't an English teacher. You can definitely tell I wasn't an English teacher. Yeah. All right. So I would say this. So don't burn bridges, young coaches.
Yep.
Don't burn that bridge. So I'm gonna just go ahead and put this in the public stratosphere. Okay. So you don't know who will call Coach Golden. Right? Let's, hey, Coach Golden, such and such, such and such. Like, so young coaches, you don't know how long older coaches have been around. You don't know who they know. You don't know who knows them. I've been in situations where people have applied for volleyball jobs and they call me.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, I know that you were in this vicinity. What do you know about such and such, such and such?
Yep.
Right. So,
it's not just what you do. It's not just what you do in coaching. It's what you do outside of life and in general, right? Like those things can't be hidden. There's a guy in this area that's now kind of blackballed per se in coaching, right? Because of some of the things that he's done in this area, and all of that stuff matters. It's not about wins and losses. Sometimes it's about how you've treated people and what you've done. That was wrong.
Yeah. How you treat people really, really matters. All right, Coach, let's go to two shots. These are two of the toughest challenges or foul things that you have experienced in coaching. What you got for two shots?
I would say the number one on my mind right now would be the victim mentality that's kind of taken over. You just see more and more of it. It's a hard thing to break, right? Because it's everywhere. It's on social media. It's it's on TV. It's everywhere. So that victim mentality, and teaching these kids that they're not victims. They don't have to live into that. And they can do whatever they want to do that they put their minds to. That'd be one. And then the other thing is just, I'd say the controlling things you can't control. You know what I mean? Like you can't control everything, right? So, control what you can control. You're not going to be able to control the parent that's insane, or control the home lives, or control, how well they do on every test in school. You control what you can control.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. I had Shalisa Pierce on recently. For Katie Jordan, and man, she talked about that mental fortitude piece, kind of talking about that victim mentality piece. Man, she's on another level, when addressing that with her players, with her constituents. All right, Coach.
I'll give you one more thing on that. Like the thing that I call it the water bottle, right? And if you give kids water bottles every day, right, those kids now are going to depend on you to give them a water every day at practice, right? And we don't set them up to fend for themselves and create their own ways to hydrate themselves, right? Because we had a coach that would like, oh, I'm just going to buy them all waters. All of a sudden, it was like we were going through 8 cases of water a day because we were just handing out waters, right? And then when we said no more waters, they were like, well, I can't, I'm thirsty. Well, it took a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden they started bringing in water bottles and figuring out ways, to not be the victim, right? And figure out how to get it done.
Yeah, that's with kids. I was going back through some old episodes, man, had Brian Hill on, just name dropping, right? Just had coach from Barbers Hill on, and one of the things was like, he was like, we have to teach kids toughness because it's not something that they necessarily know, right? Yep. And while we're just talking about water and like, what does water have to do with toughness? Well, it's about building problem solving.
Yeah.
Right. If you can be a problem solver, you can be tough. You know, you can be tough. Coach, this is good stuff, man. All right, Coach, this brings us to the very last thing in this episode. I call this and one thing that you want to share before we roll up out of here. So what do you have for and one?
Man, I enjoy this profession. It takes a lot, but the reward is worth it. When you guys find kids that, you know, you latch onto and they latch onto you, and you build those lifelong memories with them. You're not alone in any of this. If anybody needs anything from me as far as game plans or coaching or anything culture wise, like I have tons of stuff that we use all the time. We do coach talks every week in our practices. And one of the things that we've been working on this week is team versus squad. I told my team that I'm tired of them being team members of my team, and I want them to be a squad. And one of the things that I said that really resonated with them was a team will show up and eat dinner when I tell them we're having a dinner at my house. But a squad is a group of people that'll show up, help me cook, put the plates out, and help me clean up afterwards. And I said that's really the difference right now. In our off season, what we've been talking about is I need a squad. I don't need a team. You know, a squad will take me way further this season, and this year.
Squad up.
Squad up.
Squad up. Some of y'all may know what that is. Some of you may not know what that is. If you don't know what it is, Coach Golden just told you exactly what it is. Don't just show up to eat. Show up and help cook.
That's right.
Wash some dishes. Put some dishes away. Help clean up after it. That's what squad up is. If you got to tell them to carry bricks, I'm destroying stuff on my desk. If you got to tell them to carry bricks, they're probably not the ones you want to build with.
That's right.
Squad up. Man, I'm ready. I wish I had a first day. No, man, I don't think I do.
Hey, 5:30 tomorrow. Come on.
Man, listen, if I show up at Clear Creek at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow, just know, man, I'm ready to squad up. Listen, thank you for joining us here in the Coaches Co-op. Big thanks to today's guest, Coach Travis of Clear Creek High School in League City, Texas, for sharing his journey and his wisdom. If you are walking away, walking away with new insight or energy for your team or program, then we have done our job. If you enjoyed this conversation, please hit that like button, follow, subscribe to our channel for more insights from top athletic professionals like Coach Travis Golden. Leave us a 5-star review. If you are listening on iTunes, your ratings and reviews help other coaches find us here in the co-op. Share the show with the coach who needs to hear this wisdom. Help us grow the Coaches Co-op community, where coaches do what most people can't. Listen, for Coach Travis Golden, my name is Coach P. And as always, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. We'll see y'all next time in the co-op.